Hello YouTube friends, and welcome to the last homely house, where that's a very good start, isn't it? Where my loom stand has just collapsed. I wanted to move it in a little bit closer without dislodging these arms. Now, of course I can tighten the arms up, and I will. There we go. Should we try that again? Hello YouTube friends, and welcome to the last homely house. I'm Kate, and today it's nearly midsummer. The birds are singing. This is the first proper day that it looks like it might not rain in a couple of weeks. And so I've risked bringing what I'm doing today, my loom, outside so that I can make a start on what I want to talk to you about today and what I want to do. So welcome to the last homely house to start with. This is my cottage here and gardens. I've lived in this house for 40 years, and in all that time it's undergone many changes, and so have I. And I live here now on my own with my cat, who's just sitting by the door wondering if she's going to come outside or not. And I love to do all sorts of crafts. I'm not very good at any of them, but I do like to have a go. I like to try oh, here she comes, sewing and knitting, and now weaving, spinning, all of those things I've done, and there's videos about them on my channel, loads and loads of them. Oh, hello, this is my little cat. And I just like to, I think I'm curious about how things work, and how the ordinary everyday things that we need in our lives, like clothes, like food. I grow some of my own food, not very much, because there really aren't enough hours in the day to do all the things I want to do. But I sometimes like to think, I wonder how that works. I wonder how it would be if I tried that. And so there's a phrase, isn't there? Jack of all trades, master of none. And I think that's me. I am a Jill of all trades, and I love to try new things. And I bought this loom at Christmas, January, for my birthday. I was 70 in January, and I bought this as my 70th birthday present to myself. And I've done a few little experimental bits of weaving. In fact, there was a video about that on the channel, and I'll put that in the description below this one. And since then, I've warped up the loom. This is the 4th or 5th time that I've put warp on the loom, in order to have a go at making something. Now, I've got a lot of materials. I'm sure you have as well. If you like doing things, all sorts of things, you probably have a lot of materials too. Oh, hello little bee. So I'm sitting out here in the garden and surrounded by flowers, but also surrounded by bees. This rose above me here is called a rambling rector, and it's going to flower very soon. There's 2 or 3 flowers out already, and when it does, wow, that is going to be firstly very beautiful to look at, but the scent of that one is wonderful. So I've got lots of lovely bits of flowers here. I've got a second channel, The Last Homely Garden, where you'll find out about all the gardening things that I do. Sometimes though, the garden creeps into the house channel, and here's one of those days now. So I have a lot of wool. I've collected it over many years. I've spun some because I love to spin, and I've bought wool for projects that have never materialized, and I don't mind having extra stuff. I don't mind having an excess of things. I'm defending myself now, can you hear that? Because what I'm doing is, when I have the chance, I experiment with all these things, and I like to have lots of materials to use to choose from. So today I warped up the loom with this beautiful cotton yarn. Some of my earlier experiments, there haven't been many, that I found that the warp threads broke in the action of weaving, because this bit here can be quite, you know, it can be quite hard on the warp threads. So I've warped this up with this beautiful organic cotton in this lovely blue colour. And what I thought I would do today is in this basket beside me, I've got all the odds and ends of my my spinning experiments, and there's some larger pieces here. So these ones here are just tail ends of some spinning that I've done in all sorts of lovely colours. I knit a scarf in the winter using these bits and pieces, and I have done some weaving using these wools, but I am going to use these today. In here I've got my absolute favourite ball of yarn. I spun this one a couple of years ago, and I can't use it because I just think it's so beautiful. I like it very much. It might make its way into this weaving here, you never know. So what I'm going to do then is just start away weaving here today and chatting to you. It's a beautiful sunny day. The garden's just relaxed, and what I mean by that is it could do with quite a bit of tidying up. I do have help in the garden. My neighbour Ant, and very good friend, he comes and helps me here with some of the bigger jobs that I can't do. And then just this year I've got a little gardening team, 2 people who come and help me when they have time and I have time, and they've done all sorts of fantastic things in the garden. One of the things I really wanted to do was establish a lot of oxeye daisies. Those are the flowers you see as you in the UK anyway. I'm sure they're all over. As you're driving down the motorway, and the edge verges and the central reservation is just filled with oxeye daisies, and I just love how almost like weeds they are. In fact, some of my favourite flowers are weeds, because what is a weed after all? Anyway, I'm going to start away. I bought a stand just recently so that I could do just this, bring the loom outside, down to the cabin, wherever I want to be in the garden, into the pavilion, wherever the sun is. And so I'm going to just start away. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not offering this as a tutorial at all. And I've just realised I've got a cup of tea down here, so I think I should move that before it gets full of wool. Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube videos about rigid heddle weaving, which is what this is. And I learnt loads that way. I think you learn lots from watching YouTube videos. I certainly do. If ever I need to find out how to do a thing, that'll be my first stop. So I'm just going to put some yarn on here and then start away with the first bit of weaving. Now, I've been hesitating to start this because I'm not sure what this will be. Like I've got 4 or 5 bits of weaving now, and none of them are anything. Well, I did make a cushion out of the first one, but I did weave a lovely one out of my handspun yarn. I really liked it, and I had the idea that I might make a little waistcoat, a little cardigan-y thing, but I can't take the scissors to it. I'm a little bit anxious about messing it up. So what am I doing? Should I put all of this on? Yeah, go on, because I've got some other weaving sticks. I can, and then I can chop and change, can't I? So just chat amongst yourselves while I put this yarn onto this stick. It's ages since I did any weaving, and just like with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And so I'm definitely not offering this as how to weave on a rigid heddle loom. It's just how I weave. So I warped this up weeks and weeks ago, expecting that I would have some time to come out and weave, and I haven't. and so the warp got a little bit loose, and so I keep on sort of tightening it up with this knob here. This yellow stuff is waste yarn, because when you first put these clusters of the warp onto the loom, they're all bunched together, and so if you weave a little bit, like an inch or so of waste yarn, then it spreads the warp out a little bit more, I understand. Now, the paper here, which is, people use all sorts of different things, newspaper, or you actually, with the loom, you actually get some pieces of cardboard that you can use, and they're to help with the tension so that the warp that's on the back bar here doesn't get all tangled up with itself, and it just helps with the tension, I hear. And then off we go. I've got to be careful when I do this not to pull in. I'll show you. I'm not going to pull the wool in too tightly at the sides, because I don't want my weaving to get gradually smaller and smaller, and place it like so, and then give it a beat, and not a really hefty beat either, just a tap really. I mean, a bit more of a tap than that maybe. I'll get it next time, it depends. So let me get this one here. This one's got quite a nice texture. This is the one that I hoped I might be able to take my scissors to and cut up, and I don't know how I could possibly do that. But there are definitely YouTube channels out there who encourage you to make clothing out of your weaving. I've just got to get a bit more bold. I very much like the texture this made, the fabric this made, and I was quite careful to make sure that the edges, which is what I'm doing here now, were nice and straight and not pulled in. So I need to do something with that, don't I? Any ideas? There's enough to do something really lovely. Okay, and then also remembering which shed you're in. This is the shed, the bit where the weaving stick goes between these two threads, the ups and the downs. So keeping my selvage edge nice, give it a bit of a tap, and then I'm off. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do now, because I could just weave all of this green and take out the colours that aren't green and just make a nice big piece of green. What do you think? Nice variegated green. That might look quite nice. This is an interesting one. I've no memory of spinning this, actually. I have absolutely no memory of spinning this. I wonder what I was thinking. No memory at all. It's nice though, isn't it? Too many things, too little time. Okay, I'm just going to maybe put a new colour on a weaving stick so that we get some sort of a striped effect going. Let's put this slightly darker one on, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Whatever it is I'm doing, it's very, very relaxing. I'm enjoying it very much. Where's the end? There. Or is that the end? Oh, my first challenge. Where's the end of my wool? Now there is another thing that is a very good outdoor job, outdoor craft. I'll just put this down here so I can see it. See, it doesn't fall out of the basket. And so I'm going to get myself ready to do that. My daughter Martha, she would like to make one with me. One what, I hear you say? Well, just like I've just described about weaving, spinning, knitting, quilting, all the things I love to do, making rag rugs is another thing that I've done a fair bit in the past. And my daughter has just moved house, and she was saying how much she would like to have a rag rug. And so it may be that we have to make Martha and her family a rug. It's an outdoor job for sure. I'm in a tangle with this, aren't I? There we go. it's definitely an outdoor job. I mean, of course you can do it indoors, and I have. It's just a big unwieldy mat frame, and it would be better off if you know, if you had space to do it outside. It's also a really lovely thing to do with other people. So if you've got a big mat frame, you can get a lot of people around it. Now, around Christmas time, Anna, who's my daughter-in-law, who works with me here, she and I went to Beamish Museum, and I was really interested to see the rag rugs there, and all the beautiful old equipment that they have, because of course it's a very old tradition, especially here in the northeast, but all over the place. I mean, every area will have its rag rug tradition, but isn't that interesting? Every area, every country has its textiles tradition, and so this weaving is a skill as old as time. You know, people have been finding woven cloth in archaeological sites, preserved in mud and stuff, you know, and so there's no limit really to where these things originated. Yeah, so if we get any kind of a summer, and so far it's been really wet, but if we do, then I'd quite like to get the rug frame out and do a little bit of rag rug weaving, rag rug hooking. Now, recently I went to visit Marion from Marion's World. This is a YouTube channel that, if you don't know, you should go and check it out, because she's really nice. She has a lovely channel, and she's incredibly talented, not just with her crafts and her embroidery. Embroidery has really inspired me to think that maybe I could work a little harder on getting my embroidery a bit neater. I'm trying to make some labels for quilts, because I never really do that, but I'm trying to embroider some quilt labels, and I've done my first proper one, which I like, for Jan and Jane's quilt. Finished it last night. But she also, I went to visit her recently, and here's a little clip of her stair carpet, which she made, which is a hooky mat in that old Northumberland and Durham tradition. Wow, isn't that beautiful? I was very inspired by all the things at Marion's. So if you're interested in all the sorts of crafts I'm talking about, but also her garden too, she has another channel called Marion's Garden, and she's got some fantastic things in her garden. So she really inspired me to get my mat frame out, and I may do just that. Okay, so we've got a darker colour coming in there now. I'm so not getting this right, am I? There's probably a magic trick to how to put that on there, which I have not yet discovered. Like I say, it's months since I did any weaving, and so it hasn't really left me, but it hasn't come back as quickly as I'd hoped either. So I will show you progress when there is any to show you. And all the while I'm thinking about what I might make with this, because how wide is it? It's not the full width of the loom. Can you hear the sheep on the hill? I think they must be feeding them or moving them or something. I live on a farm. I don't work on the farm, I just live on a farm. Little cottages here on this hill farm, and they have sheep and cattle, and I can't see them because of all the trees, but I can hear them. We have pigs too, but then I have nothing to do with the animals apart from whenever my grandchildren come to visit, I like to take them to visit the pigs and the sheep and the cows. Can you hear them? The last time my little granddaughter Agnes was here, she's 6, we went out to see the new calves in the barn here, about 20 of them, and she named them all. They all have beautiful names now. But I'm going to weave now. I've got my cup of tea. got my farm sounds, the birds and the sheep. My cat's just poaching around the garden over there. She's having a nice time, and so am I. So I'll catch up with you when I've done a bit more of this, and all the while I'm going to be thinking about how I might use it. Whatever's going on in the world, if you make something with your hands, or weed a few weeds out of the garden, or make a beautiful loaf of bread, or do a bit of weaving or stitching or hand stitching or machine stitching, whatever it is you do, you get out of your head and into your hands. And I made that big quilt recently that says just that. It's on exhibit in the Baltic Centre for Contemporary Arts in Gateshead. It will be there until the end of August. And it's so true. I can feel my shoulders relaxing and my back relaxing and my mind just settling into less kind of busyness. It's such a powerful thing to do, make something, I think. Just sew on a button, or tidy out a drawer. That's definitely out of your head, isn't it? Is there a magic way of doing that? There it is. I'll show you when it's quite a lot further along. Well, it's a couple of days later now, and I've brought everything inside. Firstly, the weather has been really, really unpleasant. But secondly, I live on a farm, I think I mentioned, and they've been doing a lot of work. There's a great big orange digger that's making big holes in the front field, and it's been very, very noisy. And so my rural, peaceful idyll was shattered by all of that noise that's going on. And here we go now. I'm going to just move my lovely cat and put her on the table. Thank you. So she can go and sleep in the window. So I spent yesterday, a rainy old day yesterday, indoors, finishing this weaving. I've got as far as I can pretty much now, along the warp here. And I had a very pleasant day watching the BBC adaptation of a book called about Mary Bennett, one of the Bennett sisters, the other Bennett girl or something it's called. So I did enjoy weaving outside very much, and I did hope that we could finish this project outside, but not to be, sadly, not to be. It's really grey and overcast for practically midsummer. Never mind. That's it. So I'm going to see if I can get the very last bit of weaving out of this warp. It gets harder and harder to make the shed though, and at one point you have to just say that'll do, that's enough. So while I'm doing this, I went outside and picked a little scratty bunch of oxeye daisies, which I really love. It's nice to have flowers in the house, but it's nice to have flowers outside as well. I'm definitely going to have to call it a day with this really soon, I think. And then we'll do the binding. Okay, so while I try and get the last few scraps of this warp woven, between weaving it before in the garden and now, I definitely made a decision that this could be a blanket, which would mean, how wide is this? Let me tell you. This is 13 inches wide. So if I was to do 2 more like that, and then I thought maybe it would be quite fun to do it in different colours. What do you think about that for an idea? So we've got a green stripe and maybe that blue stripe and maybe some other colours. So I think I'm going to treat this as quite a long-term project and make a blanket. So there's 2 things going on here. The first one is that this is just fun, just to do this. And so the process itself is good fun. And so in a way, the fact that you get fabric at the end of it is a bonus, because I'd be doing this even if I wasn't going to get any fabric at the end of it. I enjoy it so much. And so the second thing then is, what are you going to do with the fabric you make? So I think this could be a long-term project where I make a blanket. Anyway, I'm going to keep going until I can't get this weaving stick through this gap anymore. I'll show you one more thing I've got. I'm not sure if I showed you this the other day. This little tool here, and it's a useful little thing for just pressing down. If it gets a bit uneven, I can just press it down with this little comb thing, and if I find that anywhere it's getting a bit loose, that's a useful little thing, little comb. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute once I've done this. Well, it's getting harder and harder now to pass the weaving stick through this gap here, and so there has to come a time when I say, let's call it a day. Now I'm going to bind it off with this yarn here, and I want it on that side, so I'll do one more pass and then I think we'll say that's good. It's getting harder now. There we go. So we'll tap that one down, and then I'm going to sew this off now. It has to, yes, that's right, it has to be on this side. So here we go. We're going to bind off. So we go through there like that, and then down into the weaving 1, 2, 3, let's say, and up again through the hole. Okay, well, I'm at the end and I've got 4 left, so I'll make my stitch there, and then, in fact, I'll leave that and I'll weave, when I cut it off, I'll weave that back along a bit so I lose it. I did have a little bit too much, but now comes the exciting part, because what we're going to do now is cut the weaving off the loom. So now I'm going to cut along the top here so that I've got as much of the warp left if I want to make tassels or little plaits at the end or anything like that. I haven't thought about that yet, but I'm just going to cut this off this bar here, all that carefully applied warp. Oops, a daisy, one more, so that now the reed can just, the heddle can just come straight out, and then we can take this, I'll put it over the back, we can take this off the loom and see what it looks like, and also see how long it is. Ooh. Do you know, one of the things I love about doing this is that you see bits that you did a couple of days ago. Wow, it's still coming, it's really long. Oh, that's fantastic. It still hasn't all come off. There it is. There's the waste yarn that I started with here. And so I'm going to cut these knots here, just this side of the waste yarn. I'm excited. This stuff, all this blue warp and the yellow, I guess, of the spacer yarn, is called loom waste. I think that's a lovely word. I love the words that are attached to trades and crafts like this. This stuff now is called loom waste. So here it is now, and it is very long indeed. Let's fold it in half and see if that's possibly how big my blanket could be. So I have to do I didn't do it at the beginning, I should have done. I have to do a hem stitch there at that end. My hem stitch is fine, that's keeping that in place. But before I take the waste yarn out, I'll do a hem stitch there as well. And there it is now. Now, it's got to go into the washing machine on a very gentle hand wash once I've secured the end, and just get it self-washed. And I'm thinking that size might be how big I want my small blanket. So if I were to weave the same amount again, I could sew 4 runs together, and that would make a decent sized blanket, wouldn't it? I mean, it would make a decent anything. I'm very pleased with how that's worked out. I really am. And so I loved seeing all these yellows coming through and all these paler greens, and then these little bits of pink. There's quite a bit of pink in that bit there. My favourite combinations are green and pink, and it's all here in this weaving. I couldn't be more pleased. I think it's come out okay, and look, there's a lot of blue there. Look, that bit there is really quite blue, which I like too. So there it is now. At the moment, this is 80-20, 80% blanket, 20% I don't know. But I'd be really interested to read the comments when this video goes out and see what you think I should do with this piece of fabric. And also any tips any weavers have about what my beginner errors in making this piece of weaving. It's a beautiful thing to do. It's a lovely thing to product. I love the end result, but the process is so lovely. And I think I've said this many times, I think process is actually almost more important than product sometimes. So I have this product now, nearly. I have the little hem stitch to do and the washing, and then I find myself with a 13-inch piece of wide very long piece of fabric. And so I'm going to say thank you very much for watching me be outside in the midsummer, weaving away on this thing here. And I hope you've enjoyed it, watching it as much as I've enjoyed making it. It's been loads of fun. I've loved it. And so I will get back to you in future videos, not soon, because I've got all sorts of other lovely things coming up that I want to think about and concentrate on. But for now, that was a wonderful thing to do with a sunny Sunday and a rainy Tuesday, which is what this is. And I wish you very well indeed. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment if you've got anything interesting to say about my weaving. Don't be mean, I'm just a beginner. I'll just cut that little piece off there. And I will see you next time here at the Last Homely House with something else. I'm not quite sure what, but something else that I love to do in the sort of how hard can it be attitude. What's the worst that can happen? Get out of your head and into your hands. So I'll see you next time, and I'll finish those last few things with this piece of weaving. I love it. I really do. Take care, everyone.